Yorokobe Shonen. ReZero fans are going to be eating good today. Due to popular demand, we are going to be looking at possibly the coolest redhead in all of anime. Today's episode of throw the random anime character against Dragon Ball and just hope to god they survive stars Reinhard from ReZero. Let's begin. Reinhard van Estrella was born to Heinkel and Luana Estrella. Reinhard had always been a child, quite literally loved by the world. But the true depth of his abilities only revealed themselves when he was 5 years old. At that time, his grandmother, the current sword saint of the time, passed away due to her abilities suddenly vanishing during her battle with the White Whale. The truth being that her powers had in fact transferred into Reinhard, making him the new sword saint at the young age of 5 years old. Many of his family members blamed Reinhard for the death of his grandmother, but obviously Reinhard could not have done anything to prevent it from happening, but it still caused rifts. These rifts in his family eventually caused Reinhard to be completely alienated and pretty much hated by most of his remaining family members. Due to his immense strength, Reinhard is forced to join the Royal Guard at the age of 14, at which time he was already the strongest weapon in the kingdom of Luganika's possession. So Reinhard is the strongest character in all of ReZero. No, seriously, like the author himself has stated that Reinhard is the single strongest character in the entire series and that he has no real plans of adding anybody stronger. But do keep in mind that this does not mean that he can just beat every other character in that show in a 1v1. On paper, sure he is the strongest, but there are characters he would not be able to beat due to them having the worst possible affinity with Reinhard. But what exactly makes him the strongest? To understand why Reinhard is described as the strongest character in the series, we have to take a look at the power systems within ReZero, particularly the divine protections some of the characters possess. So what is a divine protection? Divine protections are powers given to people at birth completely at random by Odd Lagna. I won't go into what Odd Lagna is in this video, but try to think of it as something a tiny bit similar to the counterforce from the Fate franchise, for example. Like, they're not identical in any way, but it kind of serves a similar purpose of sorts. But these divine protections do have certain preferences. For example, a certain race might be more likely to receive a certain divine protection, and some divine protections might even be completely limited to a certain race. The ratio of divine protection holders is about 1 to 100 for the mostly useless protections, really, because there's a lot of them, some are more useful than others. The ratio is 1 to 1000 for more useful protections, 1 to 10,000 for somewhat rare ones, 1 to 100,000 for really useful ones, 1 to 1 million for very unique ones, and 1 to 10 million for people that hold more than one divine protection. These protections could really be anything. Someone could have a divine protection of holding their breath pretty long, while someone else might have a divine protection of being able to sense people's intentions. There's a pretty big variety in these abilities, which also, goes back to what I just said, that pretty much 1 in every 100 people has a divine protection, but a lot of them have pretty useless ones that would not really amount to anything in a actual, combat scenario, because that is, the basis of this video, obviously. Now, with these abilities being so varied, there are bound to be cases of an immovable object facing off against an unstoppable force. But the author actually fought this one out, which doesn't happen often, usually it's retconned or whatever, but in this case it's actually, prevented. So, say for example, person A has the divine protection of sword evasion, meaning swords will never hit them, and person B has the divine protection of always landing their sword strikes. In that case, these two abilities will actually just straight up cancel each other out. So both parties are just unable to use their divine protections against one another. It's essentially the great equalizer in a battle where it's just pretty much impossible to do their abilities nature, placing both parties in a state where they can't use their abilities against each other. It basically just turns it into a fist fight, really. But these divine protections are also capable of growing alongside their owner. This results in two people with the same divine protection being leagues apart from one another in terms of actual skill. Think of it in terms of a skill rating system like, for example, servants have in Fate Grand Order. Person A has the divine protection of arrow evasion at rank D, and person B has the divine protection of arrow evasion at rank A+. So person B just has the better version of the ability than person A, but they're both the same ability. It pretty much works in a similar way to that. So what divine protection does Reinhard actually have? His most prominent one has to be his Divine Protection of the Sword Saint. This ability allows him to see each and every single incoming attack in the form of something similar to a white ray, and the perfect path his sword needs to take to block and or avoid the attack. This skill basically makes him the perfect swordsman that will dodge every single strike, parry every single hit, and hit every single weak spot his enemies have. It is a combat-oriented skill with the sole purpose of leading the user to an assured victory. But Reinhard is actually a cheating little bastard, because he truly is loved by the very world itself. He actually has the ability to gain any and every single Divine Protection he needs and keep it permanently. Say, during a battle where he needs a Divine Protection that will cancel out fire, the world would read his intention and give him a Divine Protection that does exactly what he needs at that moment in time. And the best part is he keeps it personally and permanently, like unless he himself chooses to erase it, the ability just is available to him whenever he needs it. And it's also important to note that this is not limited to known existing Divine Protections either. If he needs an ability that is not yet known or created, it gets created to suit his needs. No matter how strange the need may be, it will be morphed onto a Divine Protection and given to Reinhard by Odd Lagna. Now it is also worth mentioning that this can act like a monkey's paw of sorts. When sharing his intention with Odd Lagna in regards to what he needs, the latter can sometimes misinterpret his intentions and not give him a proper Divine Protection to work with. Some examples of Divine Protections Reinhard already has are a Divine Protection that nullifies 80% of the power of pretty much any magic that is about to hit him getting stronger when under a blue sky, a rainy sky, the night sky, or when he is bleeding, him moving at superhuman speeds, being completely immune to projectile attacks, he literally cannot be ambushed unless he wishes for it to happen, he will master any weapon he touches immediately, etc. At this point, the number of individual Divine Protections Reinhard has under his umbrella exceeds 100, and that list won't stop growing as long as he feels that he needs more abilities. Aside from this absolutely broken ability, he actually has no affinity whatsoever with magic. He can't use it himself, but he can drain the magic from his surroundings and use it to power his physical attributes. His surroundings do include other people and spirits, or any living thing really, by the way. Just mentioning that here. He also has your like really basic standard package of superhuman speed, reflexes, strength, etc. Basically what nearly every character on this list already has. Like it's the shonen baseline really. But what does this actually mean for Reinhard when fighting his way through the Dragon Ball storyline? Honestly, depending on what fandom you want to suck off more, the results of this video will change drastically. Like, there's no real sugarcoating this, but if you are the type of person who believes that the raw hacks of Dragon Ball are able to negate every and any ability ever, then yeah, obviously Reinhard probably loses somewhere around, I don't know, Frieza maybe? Like, honestly, I have no clue. Like, he's really difficult to place. The thing that gives me a lot of trouble on trying to rank Reinhard is what the potential limits might be of his Divine Protections. Him being able to essentially pull any ability he needs out of his ass at whatever point is just kind of strong. I don't feel I need to justify how powerful that ability is. So, examples. Say Goku wants to punch him. He can get the Divine Protection of Physical Nullification. Boom, physical attacks are now useless. Congratulations. Okay, but how about when Goku throws a Spirit Bomb at him? He can get the Divine Protection of Ki Nullification. Boom, no more Ki. And this one might not even be needed because he already has the one where any range attacks just won't work against him. Maybe they lock him in the Time Chamber. He can get the Divine Protection of Tearing Open Dimensions. Or what if Frieza or Cell or Boo blows up the planet? He can get the Divine Protection of not needing any goddamn oxygen and being able to survive in the fucking dead of space. He gets jumped by the entire cast of Dragon Ball. He can just get the Divine Protection of blowing the area the fuck up. Because as a wise Tibetan monk once said, Swordsmasters, terrorists, is there really a difference? Okay, but surely Zeno could erase him using absolute just complete power hacks, right? Or he just gets the Divine Protection of No You and erases Zeno's ass instead. Like, you can see where I'm going with this. As long as we do not know the actual limit behind how powerful a Divine Protection can be, you cannot accurately place Reinhard, and if you pretend like you can, you're lying. Like, come on now. Depending on if you accept the fact that Reinhard's abilities could work this way in something like Dragon Ball, the results would change a lot, obviously. Like, there's no real mathematics going on here. Personally, I really like the idea of Reinhard actively being able to know you every single attack in Dragon Ball, just period. Like, whatever they throw at him, he can just say, know you, and just deflect it or whatever. Guys, I love Dragon Ball to bits, but it gets really, really old when people just refuse to accept even the possible notion that Dragon Ball is not the only strong universe in all of fiction. There are characters like Reinhard who can shit on every single verse due to the simple nature of their abilities. But who knows, maybe we will get one hell of a glaring weakness for him that will change the ending of this video in the future. But for now, with the way I think his abilities would manifest in the world of Dragon Ball, being that they don't get nerfed at all, he can just obtain any power he wants, I can't think of any other tier to place him in than the very top one. But what do you guys think about this result? Do you think I gave Reinhard a fair game, or did I completely fuck this one up? Because that's also possible, like, just being realistic. Maybe I just sucked him off way too hard, who really knows? Be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But with all that being said, my friends, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos. It really means a lot to me, because I never thought that I would be able to, even though it's just a hobby right now, but have an actual audience for my content. Like, it's really fucking awesome. Like, I really appreciate each and every single one of you so damn much, you have no idea. But if you liked today's video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss another video ever again. Work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty, and I will see you guys again in the next video. Peace out.